Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to first start off by thanking Dr. Roseman for being the driving force behind this effort, and to thank all of you who have come today to be a part of it. And I am excited about all of the energy and the potential that I see in the room here this morning. I was recently in a panel discussion that involved some pretty big names from around the country. And the intent was to talk about trends that are happening after this past fall's election. But one of the things that ended up being asked of me, because it had been observed and noted that there were some interesting and exciting things that were happening here in Shreveport, Bossier City, and Northwest Louisiana. What is it that you all are doing and have done that manages to make you all's little bird end up being a blip on what appears to be the radar screen? So some folks who pay attention to things that are happening around the country and around the world. And the thing that occurred to me was that the thing that we have understood here in Shreveport, and Bossier City, and Northwest Louisiana for a very long time is that if we intend to be successful, we don't have certain advantages to be able to fall back on. We don't have all of the party, fun, cultural reputation of New Orleans. We do not have the lure of Bourbon Street. We are not the center of power and football in our state the way Baton Rouge is. So you don't end up with a all roads leads to Shreveport mentality when it comes to our state. And so over the years, over the decades, if we ever managed to be able to achieve anything of any great significance, it was because those of us who are here understood that we simply had to try harder. We had to work harder. We had to start sooner. And we had to get outside of the box in order to be able to craft some ideas, some solutions, and some strategies that will ultimately end up proving effective for us. And that is exactly what it is that this community is doing right now with this effort. And I want to commend each of you all here who are here today, that we are starting early and we are thinking outside the box. And as Linda and Dr. Salah and Dr. Roseman and Dr. Curry have referenced, there are others all around the state who are watching us. It represents an opportunity for us to be able to lead the state of Louisiana, because there is without question a great need for leadership in the state right now on the issue of higher education. But there's also a need for us to continue to think outside of the box. And what does that mean? It means that for those of us who are responsible for government at the local level, we need to develop a fuller and greater understanding of our obligation to step forward under these circumstances and find some of those non-traditional ways, means, and mechanisms for us to become a fuller and greater partner for governmental enterprises that have traditionally been outside of what it is that we are responsible for at our core focus. We're accustomed to going out and trying to fill all the potholes, and as I've been reminded of quite frequently over the last 4 years, we haven't filled them all, and we probably never will. We know that we're responsible for fire and police and those other things, but we also need to make sure that collectively we recognize as mayors, as council members, as commissioners, as school board members, and others, that this area, this region, and in particular our respective cities and parishes will never rise any higher than our local elementary and secondary education systems, as well as our higher educational systems will allow us to rise. And so if we expect to be able to achieve that great potential, then we've got to be willing to figure out how it is that we can become a greater part of this equation. For me as mayor, that's meant reaching out to Chancellors Marcella and Dalton and to others who are part of the higher education community, making myself available to travel with them to Baton Rouge, to reach out to our legislative delegation and to the governor to make their agenda my agenda. But we've got to do even more. It may even involve some selected investment of our resources that we have a very limited number of at the local level. strategies to make targeted specific investments in higher education from local government that allow us to be able to make the kinds of leaps and movement that we need to make in this regard. Because there is, without a doubt, a direct corollary between the quality of your higher educational system and the overall success of your region and community. And the sooner and the more completely those of us who are responsible for local government understand that, and then more importantly, reach out and join forces with those of you in this room today and chart the course that allows us to act upon that, the better we all end up becoming as a community and a region. And so, Dr. Roseman, all of you all involved, commend you for your efforts. Do know that my shoulder is at the wheel. I believe that without question, my fellow mayors, fellow council members, and others in this region, our shoulders are at the wheel as well. We look forward to continuing this dialogue, developing this strategy, and executing